me see Bridget with
We're
that.
on.
Connected to it? Okay. All right. I'm going to hit broadcast now. All right. We are broadcasting, and attendees are filling in as we speak. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to give it about a minute to let the attendees fill in here. Looks like we're going to have a good crowd tonight. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to everybody that's watching on Eventive and on YouTube. Okay. All right, I think we're connected everywhere. So, Justin, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Thanks for, I'm Justin with Crosstown Arts, and thanks to Joey and Indy Memphis for letting us partner on this, as always. Just have a few quick announcements, which are, we are still unfortunately closed to the public, so our galleries and our theater are all still closed, and hopefully one day in the future we'll get to open those back up. But if you go to crosstownarts.org, our residency program, and I don't know if everyone knows about our residency program, but we all year long have people come in from all across the country, multidisciplinary painters, filmmakers, writers, any kind of artists come into this program, and you get to stay in our apartments for 3 months, you get fed for 3 months, and you just get to do your work. So the application we're open for applications right now for that until September 15th. So if that's interesting to you, please go to crosstownarts.org and look to see how to apply for that. And that's it. Looking forward to hearing tonight's guest. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks.
All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Joseph Carr. I'm the Director of Artist Development here at Indy Memphis, Artist Development and Youth Film, for that matter. Before we start again, I want to thank Crosstown Arts, Justin in particular. They've been a great partner for a long time in the Shoot Splice program, which is now in its 7th year. And normally, you know, we host these live on the first Tuesday of every month at the Crosstown Theater. And we will do that again once it's safe to do so. But for now, we're continuing to do these virtually. So thank you all for hanging out with us on Zoom. I'm sure you all have done this many times, and we thank you for joining us again tonight. So we also, before we start, want to thank our Shoot Splice sponsors. Those sponsors are Mark Jones, Firefly Grip and Electric, LensRentals.com, Music and Art Studio, and Via Productions. Those are also the in-kind sponsors of our Indy Grant program. Our Indy Grant applications closed for the year earlier this month. But for those that are unaware, the Indy Grants are our filmmaker grant program, in which we provide cash and in-kind services to 3 different Memphis-based filmmakers to produce short films. We have one for a narrative short film, one for documentary, and new this year is our proof of concept grant, which that one is for filmmakers with a narrative feature film in development to produce a proof of concept short film based on that feature. We'll be announcing the finalists for those grants coming up in early September. We're very excited about the slew of applicants that we got this year, so please be on the lookout for that. The next big thing that we have coming up is our 5th annual Indy Memphis Youth Film Fest. That is next weekend, August 28th through the 30th. The festival is totally online this year, but we're still happening with great film screenings from local Memphis film students and those from around the country as well. There'll be workshops and presentations kind of mixed in throughout the weekend. It's completely free for students between grades 7 through 12, and the film screenings are pay what you can for adults. So if you're curious to see what the future filmmakers of Memphis are up to, or if you have a student in your life that you think might enjoy the festival, please let them know. And just head to indymemphis.org and click on the youth tab. And I think we'll be putting it in our chat box here as well if you'd like to take a look. We also, of course, have our ongoing Indy Memphis Movie Club series. Indy Memphis Movie Club offers virtual screening opportunities for new films and classics. Currently playing is the documentary Cream, America's Only Rock and Roll Magazine, about the rise and fall of the seminal rock and roll publication. And we're also screening the Peruvian film Song Without a Name, directed by Melina Leon. It made its premiere at the in the Director's Fortnight section at the 2019 Cannes Film Festival, and now we are able to bring it to our audience here in Memphis. So yeah, just check out indymemphis.org to see those awesome movies. Okay, so let's move on to our main event for tonight. So how this will work is, in just a moment, I'm going to introduce Princeton James, who will be moderating the conversation with our guest of honor tonight, Ms. Skyy Blair. They're going to be presenting a case study on the show Curves that Skyy was the writer for. So what's going to happen is they are going to have a conversation first, and then after designated time, once they're wrapping up their conversation, we're going to open it up to audience Q&A. And so if you see at the bottom of your screen, if you're on Zoom, there is a Q&A box that we ask you to submit your questions there once we open it up for the Q&A. And if you would like to ask your question directly, we encourage you to use the raise hand button. There's a raise hand button that you can use, and we will see that your hand is raised, and we will call on you and make you a panelist to bring you into the conversation. You can ask your question directly to Princeton and Skyy. And if you're watching this on either YouTube or Eventive, you may enter your questions there, and those questions will be forwarded to us as well. All right, so at this time, I'd like to go ahead and bring in our his return to Shoot Splice, actor, producer, playwright, all around awesome guy, Princeton James. Welcome back.
What's up, Joseph? How is everybody doing with Shoot Splice? I'm so happy to be back. How are you?
Good, man. Really appreciate you jumping on and helping us out with this tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Always.
Well,
yeah,
I'm excited to get into the conversation. I'm sorry?
No, I'm just going to say I'm going to hop off now. I'll be in the background if there's anything that goes on, but I'm going to let you take over, and you can introduce our guest of honor, Ms. Skyy Blair here. So
awesome.
Take it over, Princeton.
Awesome. Well, y'all, I'm Princeton James. I'm so excited to be here with my friend. And thanks to everybody at Indy Memphis who always does an amazing job with programming and helping us build a viable creative economy. But just to hop right in, y'all. So she's a Memphis native. April Skyy Blair is the winner of the BET Color Creative Script to Screen competition. Her pilot Curves has been greenlit for production in the spring of 2019. She has written 6 nationally published novels, including the popular Lesbian Choices series. Passionate about storytelling with diverse backgrounds that are both unique and realistic. Y'all, without further ado, I want to introduce to y'all Skyy Blair. So come on in, Skyy. Come on in.
Hey.
Hey, Skyy. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
You're fine. Good. I'm doing good. Very, very excited to talk to you today and Shoot Splice as we unpack your complete journey and definitely do a case study on Curves. So how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm not. So you called me up and was like, hey, I want you to do this thing. Okay, you're going to do it. You don't ever give me the option to say no, which is you. So I was like, no. But then I was like, all right, cool. So, but yeah, usually you don't steer me wrong. So yeah, I'm here. So
thanks.
I'm excited.
And you always doing it.
I'm excited.
You're nervous, but it's a good nervous because you did so much great work, and your work and you submitting to that contest was amazing for the city and for more things to come. So let's hop right into it. So I just want us to, could you just tell us a little bit about your story, how you came to be the writer that you are today? Yeah. Where did you start?
Well, so I started with books back in a long time ago. I'm not going to say that because I'm going to say my age, but it was, I started writing books years ago, and the first, everything with me kind of happens by chance, but it always is something I've always loved to do. So with writing, I always loved writing, but I never thought I would write a book until somebody broke my heart. And so in a weekend, I wrote my first book, and that turned into Choices, which turned into a very popular Black lesbian book series that just kind of put me on my way to where I am now. I've always loved film and TV. So if anything, and even when I wrote my books, my publisher was like, you really should write for film and TV because when you're reading it, it reads like you're watching a movie. And I'm more dialogue driven than I am anything else. So from there, I was like, okay, I want to try this. And I started, trying to just figure out how to do it from Memphis. Because of course at that time, we didn't have any kind of like film classes or anything like that. So I just kind of had to go to the library, read. I started reading a lot of scripts, and then I started stalking Craig Brewer. And I mean, literally, I was like just popping up at things he had. And then finally he took a meeting with me and we talked and we vibed and he became my mentor. And so from there, just things just kept going. I mean, I'm a little bit of a stalker. But it worked out.
But it worked out. Look how it worked though.
Yeah, it worked out.
Look what came of it. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of everything is gone from there. And then I entered this contest. I had an idea for this show and I had been writing it for a couple years, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. So we can. I don't know if that's one of your questions, so I was gonna stop there.
No, keep going. It's fine. It's fine. We'll work it in. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as far as the where we got to right now, I read the Shonda Rhimes book, Year of Yes, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna do a Year of Yes. And so I started a Year of Yes, and one of the main things on my Year of Yes was I wanted to go to the American Black Film Festival. I've heard about it. Everybody who talks about it, I was like, I'm gonna go. So one of the first things I did was buy my ticket to go to the film festival. This is after I've already been writing this show for about 2 years at this point.
Wow.
It started off with me. I started writing it, and then I was hanging with Craig, and I just randomly was like, yeah, so I'm writing a plus size Sex in the City. And he was just like, wait, what? He was like, that sounds fantastic. And so I just went from there and I kept writing, but I never felt I was quite ready to put it out there. But then Year of Yes. And so I was already going to the film festival, and I just so happened to see that this new contest came out, which was the script to screen contest with both. And actually another thing, I had just finished reading Issa Rae's book. And so I go on this site and I'm seeing this BT Issa Rae contest, Color Creative, about, wanting a pilot. And I was like, why not? Year of Yes, let's do it. So I submitted it and I got an email back like, oh, you're a semifinalist, and then you're in the top 3, and then now you're going to Miami. And I was just like, wait, how is this happening? Like, but it was all
it happened. It happened. Yeah, that's incredible. That's a very, very inspiring story. So what would you say you think, like, what was going through your mind when you were prepping to submit to that contest? Because I'm sure we have some people that may be tuning in that are apprehensive about submitting to contests, or that are afraid, or that have already submitted to a few contests. What was going through your brain, and could you speak to us about what was a little bit of your process going through that?
Well, the first thing that went through my head was, I'm never gonna win. I was like, I'm just gonna enter it because it's here and it feels right. Something about it, because they had a couple other contests that I could have entered as well. But I was like, something about this felt right. And it was like, it was BT, which I love. It was Issa Rae, which I love. I was like, something, if my show should be anywhere, it's probably in that world. And so me entering it first, I was like, let me make sure I read all the instructions, because someone had recently told me how, I think I was at I can't remember what I was at, but they had made a thing about how they throw away a lot of scripts because people don't pay attention. And so if you have directions, if you miss one, they might put some stupid direction in it, but if you miss that direction, then they're not even going to read it. They're just going to immediately throw it away. So I just read everything as much as I could to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And then I was like, let's just see what happens. And I honestly never expected to hear anything back. I was just like, hey, it is what it is. So I got the email like, oh, you're in the quarterfinalists or whatever it was. I was like, oh, wow, it's like, 150 people or whatever. I don't know how many it was, like 50 people or 75. And then it went from that to like 20. And then it was like, 10, and I was like, oh wait, oh now I have to do interviews, and I had to do like Zoom meetings with people from LA because I was the only person who wasn't in LA that they had to meet with. And I was so nervous, and I think I actually started crying before it. But I cried, so ignore me.
That's a good cry. That's a good cry.
Yeah, so that's when I met with Daniel. I met with Denise Davis of Color Creative. Daniel is with BT. And
Right.
after that, then I remember thinking when it was the final day and they were like, okay, you will hear something by, I think it was like 6:00. And it was now like 8:00 and I hadn't heard anything. And I was like, oh, well, it didn't happen. And I was at my friend Dewan and Jasmine's house. And I was like, it didn't happen. And I just started crying. And then maybe within the first 30 seconds mid cry, I got the email saying that I was a finalist and they needed my information to send me to Miami. So it was
wow, that is incredible. That's like that like lets people know that it's possible and that you're from Memphis and people usually think that it's not possible here, but it is. So let's talk a big part of your journey, which was the festival, which is a great segue here. So like you were a semifinalist then, and then you all were like y'all went to the ABFF, which you had already bought a ticket for. Let's talk the festival. Tell us about your journey. Like we want to know that. Yeah, let us live through that.
Yeah, so I already had my ticket. I already had my hotel. Everything was paid. I had everything paid in full. And this is like a week before, maybe a week and a half before we were supposed to go. So I'm like, all right, and so my friend Denise, she lives in Dubai and she actually was coming in to meet me anyway. And so she was like, oh, so we got a room now and I was like, for free? And I was like, I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
But when we got there, it was technically 3 finalists, but one was a writer's duet. And so it was 2 of them. And then it was Darnell, it was Courtney, it was Bandu, and it was me. And I walked in with these other writers who I loved them to death now, but they were also more perfect. Like they went to school for this. The writers duet, they're writing on like Gossip Girl and different things. And I was like, I know this is my first thing, period. So I was super just out of like, I don't know why am I here? Like, I don't understand. Like, why am I sitting here? And then next thing I know, it was one, they had a screening for the Bobby Brown movie that was coming on.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm sitting there next to Darnell, and we're watching this scene of Bobby telling Whitney that that he got the other girl pregnant. Robin is on the screen too, and anybody who knows me knows that the Whitney Robin thing is like, oh my God, I want to know more. And so all of a sudden I hear, yep, that really happens. And that really happened. And I turn and it's Bobby Brown standing next to me, watching it, just like, that really happened. And I was just like, what? Like, what? And I didn't want to act crazy because I'm a fan. So, but I was just like, oh, okay. And on the other hand, I'm like, oh my God, like this is happening.
Yeah.
But, okay, all that aside. What happened?
No. We want to hear all of that. Like, yeah.
So the way that they set the contest up was genius. It was not just us showing up and they saying, yes, you won, no, you didn't. They had a whole curriculum like set up for us. So we had to go to specific events that there was an event about being a showrunner. There was another event, the BT stuff we had to attend. There was a party that we had to attend with all of the people who were in the contest, that were in ABFF and like special people for BET. And then they had this one full day where the whole day was us sitting with different specialists, from directors, showrunners, producers. We sat with some HBO executives, just all these different people who are specialists in their lane. Also, BET at that time, Connie Orlando was there, and they're telling us how their job works, and then we're able to ask questions back. So just in this one day, it's all these different people, from people that's worked on Insecure, to people who's worked on Empire, and the showrunner at the time for Star, and all this. And I'm taking it in because I'm asking questions. And then it was like, all these people have read my work at that because they read it before they came. And so they're asking us questions and wanting to know more. And everybody seems really like, oh, your show is really great. Like the idea is really fresh. It's really original. We like it. And I'm just sitting there like, again, confused as to, I'm still not understanding I'm here. Like I'm here, but I'm not here at the same time.
Right.
And then at the end, they were like, okay, so we're going to break for lunch. They had this whole lunch set up for us, made us just feel like $1 million. And then I'm standing there and out the side of my eye, I'm seeing pink. And I was like, that's a very tall person in pink. And I know that skin color. And I was like, I turned and it's Issa Rae walking in. And I'm just like, they surprised us. We didn't even know she was in Miami at all. And so she comes in, she's talking, and then she's like, yeah, and your show curves are like, I really like this part about it. And I'm like, so everything she's saying is like, oh, so you realize that Issa Rae has read your work. And then it makes sense. Again, it's her company. So of course she's had something to do with it, but I'm a dork, so I don't know any better. I'm just kind of like, like you've read my work. She's like, yeah, I read all your work. And I was like, okay. And so from there, it was just like the best way to experience anything, because again, I got to learn so much, and not only learn so much, I made some valuable connections, not just with my fellow finalists, even though we had a great time together, but all these other people who are just like, hey, we're here for you. If you need anything, hit us up anytime. If you have any questions, if you have anything you maybe want us to read or anything, we're always here for you. Something that BET really stuck with us on is that once you're a part of BET, you're a part of BET. So it wasn't a situation where they're like, okay, well, you won, okay, bye. It was like, no, you can call us anytime, you can hit us up. You are a part of the family now. So anything you need, we're here for you. And that, out of anything, it was priceless. So yeah, it was priceless.
That's incredible. That's such a inspiring story. And then so from that moment, after you left the festival, is when you later found out about.
Yes, they did not do it one, because the way that they set the whole contest up was not just a contest. They treated us like we were already in production, pre-production. So they're giving us executive notes. I'm getting notes back from BET, from Color Creative, from Issa, from it's like 5 different people giving me notes on my script, turning it back in, giving more notes. And then after that point, after about another month or two of this whole process of taking notes, rewriting, they finally were like, okay, we're picking a winner. And I got a phone call from Denise Davis, and she was like, yes, I have something to tell you. So, so you won. And I was just like, they were talking, and it just went out. And then I called in from work because I was like, yes, I'm not going to work today. So, but yeah, so I was like, wow, I don't know what to say here.
I bet it was like crazy.
I think my friends always knew. They were like, you're gonna win, but that's what your friends are supposed to say. So for me, it was more like, I don't know, because I'm with these really great, talented, super talented other two people, or other two scripts, and I'm like, I'm just happy to be in the room where it happens. But
hey, that's a little plug. That's a
little Hamilton there,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so
which I think is crazy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. I won the contest and I cried, which I always do. And
you cried.
Yeah, I cried.
So after you won, let's talk about when, in between the moment where you found out you won and you knew you were going into production, how did you prepare for that? Like, walk us through that process of just taking in the win, taking in the attention from the city, and then the attention locally compared to nationally, and then how did you contain it? How did you balance that and then get ready for production? And what was the timeline like?
It was a good amount of time, because this was, I think I found out I won in maybe February or something. It was really earlier this year. We didn't shoot till October, but the way that they were telling me, they were like, hey, it's gonna be a long process, but when it happens, it happens. It's gonna be quick. So when it happens, be prepared, because it's going to be quick. And they were absolutely right. So we went like months with nothing, to the point that I was like, okay, maybe they're not going to shoot it, or maybe, you know, I didn't know what was going to happen. And then they were like, we need to bring you out to LA. So I went out to LA for meetings, and the meetings were to meet who was going to, you know, meet with showrunners, try to find, you know, who I like for characters. So when I'm in this, I go to LA, I go to the Viacom office. I'm just like taking pictures of everything, because I'm like, oh, look, I'm in, you know, I'm famous. I'm not.
Right. You made it to Viacom.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm in the office, and I met with the different, you know, the rest of it, like Sarah, both Sarah Finney Johnson, Sarah Skyy. And they were like, okay, so, you know, I met with other showrunners too. And all these people that they brought in to be potential showrunners, I'm thinking that I'm supposed to be, you know, in like sitting there being interviewed, but they're like, no, they're trying to get the job. So you should, you have to like them, and it's your choice. And so when I met Sarah Finney Johnson, I didn't know exactly who she was, but I knew who she was. I was like, oh yeah, I know, I've seen that name. And then it hit me, and I was like, wait, let me IMDb. Oh wait, that's Moesha. That's she. Wait, she created Moesha. Like in the Parkers. The only other plus size TV show, Black TV show that's ever been out was the Parkers. And I was like, yeah, I want her. And yeah, so it just went from there. And then I after that, I went back to LA again to start working on the script with her. I also got to start experience the casting process, which was really, really interesting, because I had to look at a lot of really hot people. And I know that's wrong for me to say, but I you know, it is what it is.
That's just it was what it is. It is what it is.
It was just, I got to experience that whole process. And then, you know, the director, Melissa, who again, it was just like immediately, as soon as we got on the phone, we were like, do you think we can get Lizzo in the show? And I was like, I said that in BT, like, can we get Lizzo? And this is before Lizzo, like, it was right before she really popped, but I knew who she was, and I've been a fan. And I was like, hey, so can I get Lizzo? And it was like, she was like, I love Lizzo too. Can we get her in? And I was like, can I just get a picture of her, like in the corner somewhere? And so from there, you know, Melissa is my director. She's fantastic. And we just kind of went from there. And so they end up coming to Memphis, her and Sarah, did the whole scouting, the whole hiring. I got to be a part of all of that. I got to see the way that it's supposed to be done properly versus the way that it's not supposed to be done. Because, you know, here in Memphis, guerrilla stuff, you know, it's like, oh, we want to shoot here. Oh, what permit? Like, now I'm gonna go ask the guy who's do it. Just me, you know, just shooting here for $5. You know, that's what we do. You know, and so they're like, no, you gotta, it's another way to do this. And I'm like, well, what do you like? Well, we need this. And I'm like, hold on, let me go on Facebook real quick. I put it on Facebook, and 10 minutes later, I got 15 names for them to call. So, because that's the one thing I love about Memphis is Memphis has been down since day one, of course. And whenever you need something, we're here for each other. So it was they were just kind of, we don't have this, we don't have that. And I'm like, hold on, we have it. Like, I can find it. If we need it, I can find it. And if I can't find it, somebody I know can find it. Like, I can call Princeton, and Princeton, if I need an actress, I can call Princeton and give me 10 minutes. He's going to have a list of actresses that are on the way to the place and everything. So I think we got off topic. I can't even remember your question.
No, that's it. Like, I wanted to know about your process, and that was a part of your process. Because my next question was going to be about how, when you got to Memphis, how did that feel? And then, like, what all did you learn just in like the preparation to get ready to film? And like, how was it working? Like, how was it working with like pre-production and the producers? Or, you know what, a better question is, how did it get to Memphis? And could we talk about who wanted it to be shot here instead of other places?
Well, of course, I wrote it for Memphis. You know, I try to put everything I write in Memphis. But the main person who wanted it in Memphis was Issa. She, you know, if you think about Insecure, it's very LA. It's very much, the LA is another character. And so we kind of looked at Memphis the same way. Is that, yes, we have these 3 girls who are friends, but the 4th character was supposed to be Memphis. So I really did not want to fake it. I don't like it. I don't think other shows that have had to go, that are saying they're from Memphis, but they really are being shot in Louisiana or Georgia, you can tell because we're special here. We're a whole different kind of breed of people, and it's very different. And so I really wanted it to be here, but the person who really like was down for that was Issa, and she was just kind of like, yeah, we're gonna shoot it here. It might cost a little bit more, we'll make it work, so
Yeah.
shout out to her for that.
I know. And when you got here, like, how did it feel? I know you had kind of a challenge trying to crew up here.
Kind of. Well, there was this show called Bluff City Law that you are very, and that a lot about, that kind of had everybody. They had everybody. And so we're this small production. I think the biggest hurdle was, budget wise and time wise, we just did not have a large budget or a lot of time. So we were trying to make it happen. And as many people as we wanted to use, a lot of them were already still working on Bluff City Law. So it was a whole lot of trying to, it's like a big puzzle that you're trying to put the puzzle pieces together because okay, well, here we have this great set designer. Oh wait, they're over on Bluff City Law for the day, so we can't use them. Okay, so wait, who can we get? And I'm like, look, I know the little so-and-so down the corner, he paints and I can use them. So I'm doing all this, and they're like, okay, we need hairstylists. And I'm like, look, I know about 18 hairstylists. In fact, I got a wig girl who can make some bomb wigs. And they're like, well, we don't know. It's a difference in working, just being a hairstylist and being a Hollywood or working for film and TV is a big difference. So that was a whole process. And I think I learned, for the artists, the budget doesn't really, it's like second hand to us. We don't care about the budget. We care about the vision. As a showrunner, as a creator, you have to care about both. And so that's why my showrunner was able to keep me in line a lot, because I would be like, well, I don't understand this. And she's like, just calm down. We'll get it done. Other things that I learned are that, things can change so quickly. We started with 3 actresses originally, and 2 of them had to pull out like 2 days or 3 days before we shot. And I was like, I will never forget, we were sitting in, what is that restaurant right at the corner of Cooper and Young with the really great drinks?
Cafe Ole or the beauty shop?
No.
Alchemy?
Yes, we're in Alchemy. And we're drinking, and they get the call that one of the actresses can't do it. And I'm just sitting there like trying not to freak out. And then I just put my head down. They're like, Skyy, it's okay. This happens all the time. And I was just like, it doesn't happen in my world. I don't understand what's happening. Like, it's 2 days before we shoot. What are we gonna do? But it worked out because I actually got the group of girls that I got are perfect. I love them. I love them more than anything. It literally was like lightning in a bottle. Everything came together.
Yes,
perfect.
It did.
Yes.
And it was an incredible shoot. I want to talk about like how much did you learn working with Sarah Finley Johnson, y'all? That she created Moesha in the Parker. She's legendary, and she's still super sweet. Like, how was it? What did you learn? Like, how was that process? And like, what gems did she drop? Yeah, let us know.
Well, first, it was very difficult for me, being a fan that I am, not to walk in the office every day and be like, Mo to the, E to the, because I wanted to, I didn't. Like, I really am proud of myself for not doing that. I learned, she just taught me, one, about how to really take pride in your work, because Sarah, I would think everything is fine, and she would be like, no, let's print it again. She prints out everything. Like, it's not reading from the computer. She needs to have it in her hand so she can, find any error. And she said it was something she learned from back at working on the Jeffersons. So, think about that. She worked on the freaking Jeffersons, and she's like, they are sticklers on punctuation and everything. So making sure there's not a period missing. Every I is dotted, every T is crossed. And that was something that I got from her. It's like, okay, make sure you go through it. And once you've gone through it, go through it again. And then if you change anything when you go through it that time, make sure you go through it again. And so that I learned from her is to make sure that you don't miss anything. If as much as possible, you don't miss. Another thing I learned is just how to be in a writer's room and how to bounce ideas off of each other. But also as a creator, knowing that if I have something that I'm thinking, because for me coming into it, I was a little afraid that I was, network notes and notes were going to completely take it away from the vision that I originally had. And some of that did happen, but that's also why I had a great showrunner, because she was like, okay, Skyy, what do you see for this? Like, let's what else? What are you seeing for this part? And I think I got some of my best work out of it just from, okay, listening to myself in the process and saying, okay, this was your show. You had an idea for it. Make sure that you keep to that idea and you don't lose it in the process and it becomes something completely different, which happens a lot of time in film and TV. You hear about it a lot, the creative differences between creators and the networks. So that was a big thing. Just making sure that I got that correct.
That's incredible, because I believe you got it correct. So
and I also got her, I think that I rubbed off on her too, because I got her loving Memphis wings, because she had never had honey buffalo, honey hot or honey gold wings, honey gold. Yeah, she's never had honey gold wings. And I gave all of them honey gold wings. And they were like, this is so good.
From where?
We were at Minglewood, so I was like, "Oh, it's a Crumpy's right here. We just gonna go to Crumpy's." And I ordered. That was our first big meeting. I was like, "Oh no, I got this. I'm gonna order us some wings." And so I got us wings, and they were like, "Oh my God, these wings are delicious." It's Memphis, so in LA they eat like rabbit food, and so I was like, "No, we're in Memphis."
You had to feed them.
I was feeding them so much, like even going to the different bakeries, it was like Mel and Sarah, and little Sarah, as I call her, little Sarah, my producer Sarah, they were eating chocolate candy, just chocolate, just everything, all just nonstop. Right. Like, okay, we're gaining too much weight. It's time for us to get back to LA.
Right. Yeah. That's a good thing though. They really, really enjoyed Memphis. So I want to segue into the casting process in Memphis. Ooh, okay. Right. Go ahead and lay it on us.
No,
give us the real. How was it?
It was interesting. Well, I did casting in LA first, and I saw how it's done, and then we did casting in Memphis too, because we really wanted to put as many Memphis people in roles as we could. And I didn't want them just to be background, which is fine. We knew we were going to have extras, but I wanted to try to get as many people from Memphis as possible that we could get. And I really, really wanted to have a Memphis person as one of my leads, one of my 3 leads. But in the end, we ended up getting all women from Atlanta, which worked out. But I did there's this one guy who was just such a diva named Princeton that was like, kidding. But yeah, so I was like, Princeton, I would hit you up and be like, I need, can you find me some girls or this, or can you find me people for this? And so we were having the casting. Casting went on for a few days, actually, us trying to find the people that we needed. And luckily we, I brought in Fat Mac too, because I was like, I needed a Memphis funny, like that real Memphis person. And I was like, okay, he's going to be it. He's going to be our comic relief. Let's get him in here. So we got, Darius Fat Man Clayton, and we had
incredible talent. Incredible.
I had you. I hit up the Barnes brother, Calvin and Chris Barnes. They helped me put together the band we needed, which was perfect. Incredible. People for days. We had a lot of people that we were able to get in for different roles. So the only thing I would say about Memphis, I do wish that we had a little more knowledge, because we did have people that were coming in that had obviously never auditioned for anything before, which is fine, you know, it's, you want to give them a chance, but just to know the basics of, you know, how to slate and how to, you know, read from, you know, to practice before you come in. Don't just, you know, get it and not look at it until you walk in the room and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, and because unfortunately we don't have as big of a community to know that, that would be something that if I could bring something in, I would say, hey, let's have some more classes to make sure people are prepared for the audition process or anything of that sort. But outside of that, no, we were good.
That's amazing.
You got me a couple.
I also want to. You said what now?
I said you got me a couple people, and then you
Oh
found,
yeah, it was cool.
found your way into there too. You know.
It was fun. Yeah, I had a pleasure working on it, and it was like some of the most fun I have had, and it was an amazing project. We had a small scare, remember?
Wait,
because I was double when I had.
The bus. Yeah. You were
Yeah.
supposed to shoot. See, Bluff City was in. Bluff City was just took all of it. I was like, I can't get anything.
Yeah, and thankfully my date was on the weekend to shoot, so because I so wanted to shoot Carr, so I was so grateful to be a part of the process. Speaking of that, tell us about, like, how did it feel on the production set? Like, how did it feel? I know you shot for 4 days. You had limited time. Things were moving very, very fast, as things do in any production, though they always move fast. But, like, what was that like? Like, to go from literally pressing a button and submitting online to the competition, and to go to you on set shooting your actual pilot, like things that come from your brain. Tell us about that process of actual production.
It was stressful. So I'm just going to be honest. Because we had 4 days, and you know how Memphis weather is bipolar. So we were like, oh, the week before it was perfect weather, not like sun,
it was
80s, you know, felt great. Then we get to the week of the show, it's raining, it's cold. I'm like, why is this happening to me? And one of the scenes where the girls are supposed to be in this boot camp, it's raining, and we're like, we can't change the day. So they were just like, all right, let's do it in the rain. So we have them outdoors working out in the rain down on Riverside, like over on across the bridge. Were we across the bridge? Yeah, we were. So I was like, that in itself was just like, it was just crazy. And then we had the one scene on a roof. It was so cold. They were giving out like little hand warmers, and I have a picture of me wrapped in like 2 different coats. It was crazy, but it was again, it was like lightning in a bottle, because everything, even every time I thought something wasn't going to happen, it came out and it still worked. So we made it work. We were supposed to have a scene that was supposed to happen at trolley night. It started raining, so we were like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And we ended up going to the food hall, Puck Food Hall. And so that ended up being perfect, because it just felt really nice and showed this other side of Memphis that a lot of people didn't even know existed. So that was great. The best part, one of my favorite things was the table read, which, because oh my God, shut up, don't talk about me. I said that. So we had the table read, and we had all of the cast, every person who had, even if you had one line, you're at this table read. And
everybody.
It's me, Sarah, it's color creative, and then all the way at the other end, BET had just came in, so it's all my executives from BET. And this is their first time really hearing any changes we've made, seeing the cast all together. So of course, if they don't like something, they could easily say it. And they, know, were making notes the whole time. We had Robbie Reed there, who's head of casting for BET. She's legendary. And legend. So, but that table read was the moment that I broke finally, because up until then I had been so busy that I didn't have time to really stop and take it all in. And so they were like, so hey Skyy, so what do you think? And I was like, I'm just really happy. I can't believe. And then again, cry. Like
they cry.
No, it was so funny. I was like, I really feel like, and I was like, I felt it, and I was like, oh no. And they were like, it's okay, because they all thought that I had done it before. I was like, no. And all these tears start falling down my face.
Yeah, you were crying. You were trying to stop it from crying. And everybody was like, cry.
It was like, oh God, God, it was awful. Like I was like, damn it, I didn't want to cry. I'm sorry, but yeah, I cried.
It was a great moment though. It was a great moment.
So
and then to have all those people in Memphis, that's like history, Skyy. Like there's no one else, especially.
They wanted people to watch the table read, and I was like, if I would have known that, I would have had all my friends there. But I'm calling people last minute, like, get up here so we can watch the table read. I hit up like so many different people, like Nadia Matthews came, and who is doing a lot, and I had Richard Douglas came, and all these other people just jumped out of bed because I hit them up like 30 minutes, like, can you get down here right now to watch this and let us know what you think? And it was just that moment was just like magic, and I will never forget. I don't know why I didn't record it. Oh, probably because I was crying, but you
were crying, yeah, but that's okay to cry. That was a great moment to actually cry. And then like, so you do the table read, you shoot the production, it's not over then. So then you have to go to the editing bay, and you have to go back and forth to LA in order to get out that right. How was that process, Skyy? Because you would think like, I did the competition, I won, I shot the pilot, it's not over, huh? Yeah.
No, it's not. So editing is a headache, and I applaud anybody who edits because I could not do it. Like it was so much. It was just because at first they were originally just sending it to me after they would edit for the day, and something wasn't quite clicking right. So I was like, something's not right. And I was catching things. And I'm one of those people who will watch a movie, and if I see something where, you know how the little mess ups where somebody will be sitting on a bench 1 minute and then they turn and then next that person's missing and then they turn back and the person's back, those kind of things. I try to and so I'm watching mine like, wait, she just took her jacket off and then we got to put her jacket back on. So I'm watching those among other things.
As you should.
Right, and I also wanted to try to get some Memphis music in there, and so I was trying to do all of that. So yeah, they brought me back out to LA for 2 days to try to get the edit together. It was a process. I would never editing. Any person who is an editor, because it's not no.
They have your respect because
I have a whole respect for editors because that's a lot of work to sit there and just cut through all that tape and try to figure out what should go where and making sure that it's all matching up, and that in itself was this again another experience. And one thing I did learn was I always thought as a writer that you just write and then you sell it and then you're done, and that's how it is in TV. In TV, technically a lot of times the writer or creator is also the showrunner. In my case, being that I'm so new and I knew nothing, of course they partnered me with the showrunner, but just knowing.
But you skipped a whole lot of steps.
Yeah, I did.
You skipped a whole lot of steps.
And every writer tells me that. Every actual Hollywood writer I've met tells me, so you just didn't do anything. Like you missed it.
Right.
You said, I'm just gonna go to the top. It's like, wow.
Right.
Yes.
So I think this is a great time to segue into y'all. Please welcome the beautiful Janae in the house. Janae is here.
Hey,
yes, you see her? You see her? Yeah. So y'all, Janae was one of the leads in the actual pilot, and Janae has been on a lot of television shows, movies, and everything. A phenomenal actress and incredible. So welcome, Janae. What's up? How you doing?
Hey, y'all can see me?
Yes,
yeah, we can see you. You can't see us?
I just can't see. Oh, okay, I can see y'all now. Okay, hey guys.
Okay, good.
So I wanted because I gave Janae the scene. Her character was my favorite character because her character is supposed to be like this, all well put together psychiatrist who also goes to sex clubs and is into BDSM. And so I wanted her, I knew that whoever played that was gonna have to just bring it, because I'm literally trying to put you in a sex club and have you getting spanked and hardly any clothes. And so that's why I wanted her to come in and tell her experience, because that was like my favorite night. And she killed it. She claimed she was nervous, but I was like, girl, So I'm
Killed
gonna
it.
You know, I
Killed
was
it.
nervous. I was so I was like shaking in my boots, guys. Like I was noticeably nervous. Like I remember Miss Sarah Finney Johnson coming over to me and putting her hand on my shoulder before we were about to film, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I was like, no. She was like, "You'll be okay."
I was like,
So
trust me, girl, you're gonna be good. Trust me, it's gonna be fire. That's like,
and everybody came back to set that day because I think the other girls, the other two leads had wrapped their scenes for the day. They came back, they got dressed up to come back to the sex club scene just so they could see. So I had to put on a show.
Oh,
It was like a live show.
yeah, that's a lot of pressure too.
It was a lot of pressure. And then like the director Mel, she just, she had a very clear vision for it. And so we had to do take after take of more sexiness, more seduction, more, and it was just, I was completely out of my element. But it's like as soon as she would call action, it would just be like my game face would just turn on. I would do the best that I could. And it was fun.
You killed it. You killed it. It was incredible. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate y'all because that was something. But it was really fun working with a lot of people from Memphis as background artists. That was super fun. They were really like into it.
so we took the funny part just to tell this story because it was hilarious. So I found out from someone that there was a dungeon in Memphis, and I was like, "There's a dungeon in Memphis? Like, I need to find this place." So I found someone who knew about it, and they told me, "Okay, well, I can get you in, but you can't see anybody. I mean, you can't take no pictures, you can't do nothing, but we can get you in." And so Sarah and Mel, the producer and director, I picked them up because where were we going? I can't remember where we were about to go. So I was like, "So how do y'all feel about going to a dungeon?" And Mel was just like, "Yes, let's do it." So we went to this like dungeon, and it was like we walked in like, "Oh my God, what is happening?" And we just learned so much there. And the guy who owns it let us borrow like props for the scene. So we had this big cross thing that you like tie yourself up on this thing and you can turn, and we had like the paddle spanking booths, benches and all this stuff. And then the guy who I know who is into like BDSM, he came and was like our specialist on set and showed them the proper way to tie her up. It was so funny. Her getting tied up. And then Dupree Young, who was your like the other like co-star in the scene, he was like, "Look, I'm ready." Like, and I was like, "You did that way too easy."
He did it way too easy. Way too easy. Like in those scenes where in that scene where I'm like submissive to Dupree, or his character's name was Sir. I'm submissive to him, and like he really put some fear in me. Like he was, so that wasn't even me acting. Like he was like, I was like, "Yes, sir." Yes, sir. I was scared.
That's good.
That's really good. She was so good in it. I was just like, I can't. And we turned. Oh no, what was the name? Oh gosh, why am I talking right now? What's the name of the place? Princeton that we turned into the sex club. That already looks like a sex club.
Did y'all was it Molly Fontaine? Y'all didn't go to Molly Fontaine.
Molly Fontaine.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Thank you for letting us turn your place into a sex club because we turned it into like the hottest sex club
and
ever.
It looked just like one.
It already kind of has that kind of feel to it, but we just made it look so sexy and like upscale. And man, when I say that scene was my favorite to shoot because it was just so all these black bodies just kind of, because there's this whole part where she has to walk into the club and you're just seeing all these beautiful black people and their sensuality and just oh God, it was like, that's my favorite part of the whole thing to shoot. That was my favorite part. So that's why I went.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So y'all, we're going to get to like the last few questions, but I will tell everyone that's attending, if you're on YouTube or if you're on Zoom, make sure you click on the Q&A box because we're about to move into the question and answer portion of this. Janae, if you don't mind, we did want you to stay for this, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So, cool. And then y'all post y'all questions, or you can raise your hand and then we'll bring you on as a panelist so you can ask your question. But we do encourage you to post your question in the question and answer box. But y'all, so Janae, could you tell us a little bit about like your casting experience? And then after that, could you tell us if you had any advice for anyone that wanted to act in a project of this level and any tips that you could give them, any advice? But we want to hear about your casting experience first, yeah.
Okay, so I taped my audition, I believe we shot in October, so I think I taped my audition in September. And I was on set filming Underground Railroad in Savannah, so I had to shoot at my hotel. And I was like really, cramped in this really tight space, trying to like put a hotel light over my head, trying to get good lighting for the audition. And so I shot the audition, and then I went on, went on finishing the Underground Railroad. And then like, I think maybe like 3 or 4 weeks later, 3-4 weeks later, I think I heard from Mel about my audition. And she wanted to know if I could sing. And my rep told her yes. And so I had to tape for the role that Nzinga actually booked, the role of Maya, and I sang during that audition. And y'all, I don't even want to talk about that. It just wasn't. It wasn't the move. Okay, I can't sing. I have cracked the code. Janae is not a singer. She's an actress. And so, so I did that, and then maybe like a couple of days after I submitted that audition, they were like, "Okay, you can't sing, but we want you for Rain." And so, I flew out to Memphis like the next day, I believe. It was like a day or two later. And it was a really great experience. I will say that it was my first time being a lead. And so, and being a lead in a pilot where while you're shooting the pilot, you're getting so many notes, if it's from the showrunner or from Skyy or it's from Mel or it's from BET Network or it's from, like you're getting so many notes. And so you have to be so agile and so flexible and on your feet and really make sure that you know your dialogue in and out. And just like Skyy was talking about earlier, we had to do location changes, or like when we were shooting the workout scene, it was raining. And so we had to change the dialogue or add dialogue for it to make sense that we're out here in the rain working out. So you get thrown this dialogue right before you're about to, right before the director's about to call action. And you just have to take the note and keep it moving, and take it all in stride. So that would be my biggest thing is like, make sure that you know your dialogue, like in and out, like use the, what do you call him? The script coordinator?
Yeah, scripty or script supervisor.
Yeah, use Scripty. He was so cool. He was so cool. He was so cool. And he was always on top of me. He'd be like, you said but, and the word was and. So
he noticed things that I didn't know because I was like, oh, she did something wrong. He was like, yeah, she was supposed to say then, and instead she said then. And I was like, I don't care.
He was on top of me. And it's like, it's really because I come from, this is my first comedy. This is my first like dramedy. It's a dramedy, but this is my first venture into comedic acting. I've only done drama. I mean, like boohoo, crying, type of drama. And so it's really so important for you to be basically word perfect in comedy. And that was something that I wasn't used to. Like, I'm not used to having to be word perfect, but it's really important in comedy because you have to nail the joke. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like those jokes are important. The writer wrote them for a reason. And I wanted to honor Skyy in her writing and I wanted to land the jokes. And landing the jokes was a whole nother thing. Like I really had to, I was in my hotel room trying to crack myself up to make sure that I was land these jokes on set. So that's my advice really is that like be word perfect, especially for comedy. Utilize Scripty and just be flexible and know that especially if you're shooting a pilot, you're going to get notes coming at you left and right. And you just got to, take it all in stride and keep it moving.
And I want to say
that's so
Gretchen Goodwin, who most people know from being Mary Jane. She's also she just finished the Clark Sisters movie and she was phenomenal in that movie.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so she was in it from day one, where Janae and Nzinga, they came in literally like 2 days before we were about to shoot, because we again had two that had to drop out. And it was, I remember when Zanae first hit me up on Facebook, and we were just talking like regularly on Facebook. I was like, yeah, I'm shooting a scene. And so when I saw it, I was like, hey, look up this tape for this person. And they were like, oh yeah, she's great. And I was like, yeah, let's get her. She's perfect for Rain. And then Nzinga, she's, had no experience as far as acting that was like actually in a TV show or anything as of yet. So they made her drive into Memphis that Saturday, audition in front of us, and then she went home, and then Monday she had to come back for Tuesday because we were about to start on Wednesday. So, and she did it. She came, she drove in, she sang, she killed it. The whole time I was like, I want her. I don't want nobody else. Like, I was with casting, there was a lot of times where I was like, well, no, we can't use this. We shouldn't use this person. I was like, but I like this person. I was like, no, I am using her. This is me throwing down. I have not said anything. I'm throwing my card down. I want them to. I want them. Let's get it. And so they were like, fine. And it ended up working out perfectly because all three of the women together, just like the chemistry was there. It was just, again, like I keep saying, lightning in a bottle. It was perfect. And I wouldn't change my cast at all.
I know. They were incredible.
Yes.
Incredible. So y'all, we're gonna move into the question and answer portion. If y'all have questions, please go into the Q&A box. So we have a question for, this the last comment. I think I saw Jade in here, and Jade Benson is on here. She was also in it, and with her audition, it was one of those situations where it was like she was so good to where rewrote and added some stuff for her. So I'm just put shameless plug. Jade is an amazing actress. What's up, Jade?
Yeah,
okay, so we go.
Jade was we had already cast everybody, and she came in for just this very small role to be just a small role, and we loved her. And she stuck to her principles on some things. She was like, the first role that she read, she was like, I really don't know if this is for me. And I was like, that's cool. But I still wanted to get more Memphis people in. And so I was like, I'm going to write. So that was one of those changes where we're going to write this character in because we want to get her in here some kind of way. So we wrote her into the script.
Yes, she was great. So y'all moving into, so Rod Kirby has a question. So, hi, what's up, Rod? Y'all did my very first short film with Rod Kirby. What's up, Rod? So, hi, I'd like to know how many drafts of your pilot did you write, and did the shooting script change drastically from the draft?
I honestly can't answer that question because I don't know. I have been writing curves for almost 3 years before I entered the contest. So it started as a completely different show. And throughout time, first me working with my mentor, that started off, and then it went from there to, getting into the contest, and then the notes from beats. I mean, when I say notes, if anyone has watched that new show on Netflix, is it called Hollywood?
Yeah, Hollywood.
Yes, it is.
Hollywood. There's a scene in there where they're giving the guy notes, and he has this look on his face like, what the, like, why are you giving me notes? But then they're like, oh shit, you were right. And he was like, that's actually a good note. That was me. I'm like, why do I have it was so many notes, and it was just note after note after note after note. And we would spend we would be up until like 1 o'clock in the morning rewriting the scripts for shooting. So altogether, I honestly could not tell you how many times or how many drafts we had, but
it was a lot.
We had new drafts as we were literally about to go shoot the next day, and it might be something new in the script. So yeah.
That's incredible. So I guess that answers the next question too, right? But so Brandy Nicole Payne, what's up, Brandy? She's an incredible writer. She just got a job. Congrats, Brandy.
Hey, Brandy.
Yeah, Brandy. And she worked on it. Yeah, she worked on Curves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was Sarah's writing assistant, but she's like a phenomenal writer herself. So
yes, Brandy is so great and an amazing actress too. So what was your favorite moment of the shoot, and what are you both working on next?
Favorite moment of the shoot was again the BDSM scene. I'm a little kinky. So
Yeah.
so that was my favorite moment, was shooting that BDSM scene. I also, my favorite moment, let me think. I also like the bakery scene because they shout out to the set design team because they transformed the Cheesecake Factory. I mean, not Cheesecake Factory, the Cheesecake Corner downtown into this new bakery that looked completely different from the Cheesecake Corner. And
So
that was our last day too. We did all of that on the last day. I also like the final scene, which is actually the first scene of the show we shot, is the last scene, which is this whole moment with the cake. And that part was hilarious to me. And then when we finished, like, they made me eat cake off the floor, which was great, bonding, eating cake off the floor. So,
that sounds like great bonding though. That's amazing. That's incredible. And then Brandy also, I think she had a question about like, what are both of y'all? I don't know if she was talking to you and I or you and Janae, but she asked, what are y'all working on now? I don't know who she.
yes,
I know it's you probably asked it when there was 2 or 3 of us on here, so I'm not sure, Brandy. I'm sorry if we don't have that clarity. But what are y'all working on now? And
Well,
Janae has some great news.
I'm working on, guys. I'm working on trying to write my first TV pilot.
Yeah.
I'm in a pilot writing class right now. But as far as acting, I'm going into production on this Netflix film with called Rebel Ridge with John Boyega and Don Johnson, and we're gonna go in production, and hopefully that'll be out sometime next year. So I'm excited about that.
I've already.
Congratulations.
Assistant.
You said what?
Your assistant for that shit.
And I'm your assistant. I'm her assistant.
My assistant needs an assistant.
Yeah, for real. For real. So get us in there. So okay, so we have a question from, I'm gonna jump over to YouTube real quick, from Darnell, and it's for all the new TV writers out there coming up. What would you say is the most important thing you want to share?
The most important thing. Be as authentic
It's a lot.
as you be, and study the craft. Like, if everybody doesn't have the ability to go to filmmaking school or anything of that sort. I did not go to school for it. I had to teach myself. And I always say, something that even my mentor told me, read a lot of scripts and watch a lot of film and TV, because if you want to write for it, you need to really absorb it and you need to understand how it works. And that's something I'm still learning, is how to properly format the script for drama versus comedy versus, for what am I thinking? A web series and act breaks and things like that you need to have in there. So, but outside of that, I would say really just be authentic and make sure it's your voice. Don't try to write what you think people want to see, write what you want to see. And then there'll be other people that want to see that. Because obviously if you want to see it, I'm pretty sure there's other people that want to see it too. Like for me, Curves came because I got tired of seeing. Honestly, I was sitting up watching This Is Us, and I love This Is Us.
Me too. Yeah.
However, I hate the idea of the big girl always being depressed and, self-conscious and, oh, woe is me, I'm fat. Like, everything about her life is, I'm fat. Everything's wrong because I'm fat. Everything is this because I'm fat. And it was annoying the hell out of me. Like, she was her own worst enemy, but she was blaming her size for everything. And I started to realize that the only time I see plus size people outside of the Parkers was either the comic relief, where they're the fat Amy's, or, they're the sad, woe is me kind of character, or the big mama, or it's like the motherly, matronly type of person. And I know myself, I know plenty of other big girls. We have fun. We travel, we have sex, we do everything that you feel like we can't do. And why is it that we can't be shown this way? And so that's why I really love Kelly on Insecure, because here we have this plus size person with these skinny friends, but she's the one that you can, whenever she's in the scene, it's like, I'm looking at Kelly and she's crazy and she's not afraid to say that she want to go have sex and she want to do this and she wants to do that. And that's what I wanted to show with the show. I wanted to show that other side. And so that's what I was like, okay, we can have a Sex in the City, but it can be all big girls and it would still be incredible. So
yeah, that's such a good thing.
Something that was close to me.
All right, so we have a question from Chandria Evans. What was the hardest note for you to receive, implement? Was there a particular note you got that you maybe didn't agree with and advocated for your opposite opinion?
Oh, there was shit tons. There was so many. Yeah. I can't, let me think.
That's a good one, huh? That's a good question.
Okay, there's a scene with another character. Her name is Nzinga. Her character is going on a date with a pro basketball player. Okay. And I wrote it that she flat out asked him, "Why are you here with me?" And that was a big note because they were like, well, why would she ask this question? When if she is so confident, why would she ever question why he was there with her? And that was a hard note for me to take because I also had to look at myself because I was like, okay, a little bit of my own insecurity came out here because I would question why somebody is asking me out on a date. But the reason I question it is because you do run into the people who want to date you for different reasons. Like, oh, I'm going to date her because if she's plus size, she can't get nobody else. So she'll take whatever I do. Or if she's plus size, she'll give me money or she'll this or she, it's always something negative with it. So for in this character, when I have her asking this question, it was kind of like, okay, well, why would she ask this if she's so confident? And that was hard for me to take. It was really hard for me to take. And it was hard for me to give up on that. Because at first I was like, no, she would, ask that question. I even went to Facebook groups that I'm in for plus size people. And I was like, well, would you ask this question? And the answers were so it was like 50-50. Half of them was like, yes, because I want to know your intentions. The other half was like, no, because I'm the shit. And why do you be lucky to be out with me? So that was my hardest note. And we ended up dropping the part. We ended up having her just be like, yeah, I know you're here with me because I'm look at me. Of course you're here with me. And so I think that worked because that was probably one of my harder notes.
That's incredible. So I think, y'all, we have time for 2 more questions. I think that someone raised their hand. Did they want to come on live and ask that question? Was it Rhonda that raised their hand? I'm not sure. Let's see if you want to answer. Well, okay. You let me know if Rhonda wants to come on and just say something in the box. And then we will go to Lydia's question until Rhonda comes on. So Lydia had a question. She said, when can we expect to see or hear what's next? For curves. Yeah.
And I do think I see a few people that ask that same question. So to be totally honest, at this point, we don't know. COVID has stopped a lot of things, and I do know that the show is not going to be on the network, like on television. However, they are looking at it for digital platforms that they have, because BT, Viacom have a lot of different platforms that they can put it on. So as of right now, we do know that there was a pass for it to be on television, but they are still looking into options for digital. Unfortunately, the way that television works, and even Zanae can say that it's people, they shoot pilots all the time that never see the light of day. So unfortunately right now, I don't know if it will ever come out. I don't know yet, but so we're still just waiting to hear back, but I am confident on it. I really think we did something great. I do want, the world to see it. So I hope that it does happen, but I can't say for sure because we don't know yet. So unfortunately I can't answer that.
I understand that. And honestly, it's the climate of the industry. Like, it's the climate of the industry. We never know. We operate and we navigate in a very, very gray industry. And it's so many pilots are shot, and some of them are, and COVID just shook everything up. So whatever was planning on happening Yeah. So COVID has that shaking. So I guess we got time for one more question. Did someone want to come on live and ask it? If you did, just put yes, I want to come on live, or yes in the comment box, and I'll just promote you to panelists to ask your question. And then Joseph, I know you can get ready to come back on after we ask this question. So I guess no one wants to ask. Okay, cool. So I go back to Q&A.
Yeah.
You say what? I'm sorry.
I don't see the YouTube questions, but I see the one for Jolie. That's a good question. I can answer.
Okay,
that.
let's ask that one. Let's ask that one.
Okay.
The one for Jolie is, now that you've written for, okay, she says she wants to come on, so I'll bring her on. Let me bring her on real quickly. So y'all, we're gonna bring on Jolie really quickly. Jolie Shaw. All right, cool. All right, Jolie, it should be bringing you on. Oh, y'all here? It should be bringing her on, guys. I don't see her though. Okay, Jolie, we tried. So I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm sorry. And Joseph, if you're able to bring her on, you okay? Here she is. There she go.
Where are you? I see your name.
You can enable your, okay, just unmute and
Unmute.
enable your video. We can't hear you, Jolie. Can y'all hear her?
No, it's on mute. I see the little mute thing on it. She needs to unmute.
Okay, I'm gonna just ask the question then.
Oh, wait,
all right, so Jolie's.
Now she got to start her video. Jolie, are you there?
Yeah, Jolie, if you hit the start video option, it should let you on. There you go.
Ah, there.
All right. Hey, Jolie, I didn't know that this was, hey, how are you? Oh, we can't hear you.
Unmute.
Or just try to connect to your audio. Can you say something now? We can't hear you. But stay on here. And if you're able to get on here, I'm still going to ask you a question while you're on here. So just stay on here. And if you're able to connect your audio, just go ahead and speak and we'll answer. Now that you've written for TV after previously writing novels, do you have a preference, or do you think this is it's a major difference?
It is definitely a major difference. I tried to turn my first book into a screenplay. No, let me preface this. I tried this years ago before I knew anything. And my first script was like 300 pages because I didn't know what I was doing. But
that's the top 10.
Yes, so it is a huge difference between writing because of course with a book you have to have, you have to be immersed in it. Like you have to have the background, and you really want to explain everything. Like, oh, she was smelling a rose, and what did that rose smell like, and all of this. And in TV, when you're writing a pilot or you're writing a script, it's all about what you either can see or you can hear. You don't want anything else in it. And that's still something I struggle with coming from writing books, is making sure I'm not making descriptions that are 2 paragraphs long to describe a person or anything, because it's not needed. It's a script. Personally, I like writing scripts better because I'm more dialogue driven than anything. So I really enjoy the script writing process. I don't really want to write another book. Not saying I won't, because I know I have fans and they will be pissed if I never write another book. But right now I'm really stuck on really trying to make it into film and TV.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Jolie, for your question, and thank you so much for tuning in. So yeah, I think we're coming to the end. So I think it's what we should do now is, do y'all have any final thoughts for like writers, Yujane, for actors, actresses that are trying to get into the business, that are kind of like on that fence of like, it's too hard right now or whatever? What would you tell them in order to just like keep going and stay encouraged during this time where the pandemic is happening?
Well, I will say the one thing I take from all of this is I would read the Shonda Rhimes book if you haven't, because that was really my change. Like, it changed me. I changed so much in that year just by realizing how much I said no to things. And I know that's funny to Princeton because I say no to him all the time, but I'm not on my
All
year,
the time.
so it don't matter. So, but in that year, I just realized there was so much that I would say no to just because, out of fear. And this is something that Will Smith talks about a lot as well. And there's this thing called yes theory, about kind of say anything that's kind of that makes you that you're frightened of or makes you feel uneasy, maybe going ahead and saying yes to it and kind of stepping out there on faith. Because if I wasn't on my year of yes, I never would have entered this contest. I never would be where I am right now. So well, I was saying never, but it was probably taking even longer. So my life changed because of that. And one day I'm gonna meet Shonda Rhimes and I'm probably gonna cry because it's what I do. And I'm just gonna have to tell her like that really changed my life because it's a world that I've wanted to be in for so long and I had no clue how to do it. All of a sudden I'm in it and I'm learning and I have these contacts and I know people and I'm getting to know so much and learn so much. So I would say if anything, put yourself out there and don't be afraid to try. But then I would also say if this is what you want, study it and learn it and really put in the work, because a lot of people, and I learned this even from shooting the show, is a lot of people who say they want to do something, but then they don't want to put in any kind of work to actually get it done. And so if you come to me and you're like, hey, I want to write a script, but then you tell me that you've never, that you don't even, you're not even willing to Google how to write a script. You just want somebody to tell you. And that is kind of like, do the work and you will learn. And of course you can ask questions, but you should also be willing to try yourself. So those are the things I take from it is mainly, one, just really put yourself out there. If you love it, somebody else probably will love it too. And just, get it done. That's the major thing, get it done.
That's incredible. You, Janae?
That was just perfect. That was really perfect.
That was.
But to add on to that, I would say, especially during this time, like this pandemic, for actors, especially because we're not able to act professionally on TV and film right now because of, so many stalled productions. And what I've been doing is like actively seeking inspiration, because in the height of this pandemic, with everything happening, I kind of got to the point where I felt like, does what I do really matter? You know what I mean? Just like with everything that's happening, all the, the racial injustices in the world, it got me to the point of like, does what I do matter? And then that's around the same time that Hamilton came out. And y'all, I've been watching Hamilton like every day. I am inspired. Like I am so inspired to be a vessel of storytelling. And so I would say like actively seek inspiration. Like what inspired you to want to do this in the first place? Watch it every single day, read it every single day, because it's like you need that fuel to keep going, to keep pushing, because every day you wake up and it feels like, oh my gosh, something else done came out on social media or something else, the president done did something else, he done said something else, and it's like it's defeating, it feels defeating, so that's what I would say, like actively seek inspiration.
Right. Oh, that's so good. And if I could add anything, both of y'all put it perfectly, I would say just something that your boss said, Skyy, your TV boss, Issa Rae, just make sure you network across and not always look for network up and down, and like get with the people that are in the trenches with you and build your tribe there. Yes, they will call you a clique or whatever. Don't worry about the outside, but just get you a tribe and y'all just build together and learn together. And yeah, I drag Skyy to places and all why Blessing was here. She used to always tell me no, and I literally wouldn't take no for an answer. But just get you some people that you trust that will preserve your energy, because you're gonna need that energy in order to be inspired enough to create the work. And even me and Janae, we met up at the ATV Film Festival, and we've been like sharing resources ever since. So thank y'all so much for being here. Joseph, you can come on, but last thing, could y'all tell them where they can follow you if anyone had any questions and they want to tweet y'all or go to your Instagram or Facebook? Could y'all tell them where they can follow you and find you?
I am simply Skyy on everything. So simply SIMPLY and Sky SKYY. That's Instagram, Twitter, IG. I'm too old for TikTok, so no. But outside of yeah, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, simply Skyy. That's also my website. It's simplysky.com. You can find out more about my books on there, also more about the show. So yeah, that's it. I'm very simple. Simply Skyy with 2 Y's, like drink, like the vodka.
Oh,
Oh, it is like the vodka.
it is.
Like the vodka. I'm at Janae, my name at Janae on everything on Twitter and Instagram.
That's awesome. And then I'm at Princeton James, and the production company is at Princeton James Productions. Thank you so much, y'all, to Indy Memphis for doing this. Thank you to Bridget, to Justin, to Joseph, to Ryan, everybody at Indy Memphis. And Joseph, you can take it from here. Thank you, Skyy and Janae, for sharing your knowledge and all your wisdom with us today. So tonight, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you, Janae. Nice to meet you virtually. Thank you, Princeton. Especially thank you, Skyy, for sharing your experience with our film community here in Memphis. That was really, really wonderful talk. So thank you all. Thank you all to the audience that stuck around and watched this with us tonight on YouTube, on Eventive, and here on Zoom. Please stay in touch with us through our newsletter. Check indymemphis.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We've got some announcements coming up at the big festival we're going to be doing this year, plus our next Shoot Splice will be coming up soon. So yeah, stay in touch. And again, our Youth Film Festival is next weekend, and we hope that some of you guys engage with that too, to kind of see who the next up and coming filmmakers in Memphis are. So thank you all very much for joining us tonight.
Thank y'all.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.